How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Hello to everyone joining us for A Measure of Marketing, episode 23, all about the link between sales and marketing with our guest, founding member of Business Community Reset Focus, Kimberly Lawler. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. Hello, both of you and everybody else that's listening and watching.
Oh, it's so nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We always have, so before we hit record, we always have like a little pre-chat, but we were saying just to everyone in the audience, we don't prep too much for this. So this is we've pulled out some like differences in thoughts on this topic, so I'm excited for this conversation. She says rubbing her hands.
This is so out my comfort zone because I always like to prep. I like everything to be like organized. And now because we've opened a can of worms before we've hit record, I'm like, oh God, where's this gonna go?
It'll be fine. So, okay, this conversation. So Hayley and I are marketing consultants. I feel like I have got a lot of like sales knowledge because I work with Kim on some of her business stuff. So I've had the ins and outs of how you work, Kim, as a sales expert and a business development coach as well. So I guess that's where our differences come. So like Kim's learning a bit of marketing from me, I'm learning a bit of sales from you. Hayley's like full marketing, would have a bit of sales experience. So yeah, it's interesting how our opinions are quite different. So we was just talking about then. Well, Kim, tell us a little bit more about what you do first, and then I'll get started.
Yeah, okay. My background it's got variety within it. However, the common theme with everything that I've always done has been based around business development and looking at the strategy of how you grow a business. And I've always worked within the health and fitness industry and predominantly in sales as well. So that's been my common theme throughout, is like business and sales. That has brought me to a place now where I coach businesses locally in Derby, where I'm from, and I've also got a client base that's online and a bit further afield too. So we work predominantly on growing the business, and by very nature, we're looking at the sales function within the business to help them to do that as well. So spending a lot of time looking at, have you got a process around your sales function, and are we tracking and measuring how well it's functioning for you, I suppose. That's me.
So we was chatting about that, and let's get this started. Let's get
open the can of worms.
We first spoke about what is marketing, what is sales, where does marketing end, where does sales start? So what's your thoughts on that, Kim?
Before we hit record, I have always had in my head, and I've communicated, so I'm really intrigued on other people's perspectives too. I've always communicated that marketing is when we are talking, because marketing is communication. I'm hoping that I'm right with that part. Yeah, you're nodding. Great. So marketing is communication, and I see marketing very much as communicating one to many. And then as soon as that communication brings somebody on a one-to-one basis with you, it's at the start of your sales process. That is my interpretation of the difference between the two.
Yeah. Hayley, what did you say to it?
So I see that perspective, and mine is just slightly different in that any marketing that I've ever done and will ever do will always be focused on that one person that is seeing that post or watching that video or reading that email. So the idea with marketing is that you are not talking to the masses, that you're always talking to that one individual who's going through that buying process from kind of attraction to consideration through to, pushing more into business development, into sales. And I suppose segmenting that audience and targeting them so that you really talk to that one person so that they feel special. So I've never seen it as this kind of blanket approach.
I get both. Like when you both said that before we hit record, I was like, yeah, I see where you're coming from though, Hayley, like, because that's what we like almost teach as well, isn't it? Is to understand your customer. But then if you think of it, and I always talk about the buy-in funnel. So, and if you use social media as an example, you can know your customer so well that you're talking to them, but you are still putting it out to the masses, aren't you? And you still want to bring them down this funnel, which is a lot of people, but your one post hopefully will hit that one person and get the heart, and then build trust with you. But then eventually they'll come to one of your platforms, either DM you, send an inquiry, and then it's definitely on one-to-one, but you have caught them one-on-one in your communication the whole way through.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah, and I see that as well in I mean, all the all the sales coaching that I'll do is very much around relationship building, because that's the nuts and bolts of sales, is we're building a relationship with somebody, and that is very much on a one-to-one basis, and that needs to be reflective through your marketing journey too. I think where I look more at it from a numbers perspective and more on, I use the word like, on more on mass, is when we reverse engineer your sales targets and your KPIs. So for a lot of the time when we're especially when we're looking at ambitious growth goals, we need to turn the taps up in marketing and get more people to drop down that funnel. So more individual people, but we need more of them. That's when I feel they become a bigger collective. Yet we still treat them on that individual basis when we need to identify their needs and all of that sort of good stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you often see businesses doing wrong? I know that's not a great word, but do they start sales first and not have marketing in place, or like what do you often identify then?
I use the term a lot, scattergun, and I see this probably with any business owner that comes to me, even if it's not specifically for sales coaching or to grow their business. Maybe they're all over the place and running it really inefficiently and a busy fool. It's predominantly, I think it's because of this scattergun approach. They've not threaded everything together, and you can see that a lot between sales and marketing. If the two areas of the business aren't singing from the same hymn sheet and aren't complementing one another, it's ineffective. And the 6 stages of the sales process that I work on with any business, marketing touches each of those sections. So I feel you can really build a stronger relationship with that person that's going through the 6 stages of the sales process with you when you've got really effective marketing helping you build that trust and rapport and that credibility as well. So if we're finding that the conversion rate's low at any point in the sales process, I would always be saying, well, what's your marketing strategy? And checking that there is alignment between the two. Because sometimes it can be that closes the gap for people, and the conversion rate will increase.
Okay, yeah. And I guess there's different types, isn't there, as well? Like, as in, I've worked in businesses, and Hayley, you've mentioned this previously, where marketing is one department and sales is another department. But as the business is smaller, like me and Hayley and yourself, Kim,
Yeah.
is that you are marketing and you are sales at the same point. So like how do you split that? So if it is a big organization and they have different departments, like what's your advice there versus if you are a one person business owner, like how do you advise those two different types of businesses?
Yeah, it's communication. I think marketing and sales is communication. So if you're in a large business and you've got separate departments, are both of those functions within the business communicating to one another? Whether that is through meetings or through strategic documents, process, procedure, systems, like how are you helping to communicate with one another and to check that you're in alignment with each other too? Or if you are just a one-man band, how are you communicating between those core individuals that are touching the different elements of marketing and sales? And then again, regardless of the size of the business, what are you doing to check the success rates of each of these components in the business too. Otherwise, we could be back in that busy full state of mind where we're going like the clappers, but are we operating as efficiently and effectively as we could? And that's really only when you drill down into the numbers do you actually know the true reality of what's going on, rather than acting on this gut feeling and just your intuition. And I've only got really close to checking the data and numbers in a business probably since you and I have been working together, Kelly, because we do spend quite a lot of time looking at what's going on in the background with the numbers. So you've helped me fall in love with an area that I never thought I would.
Very welcome. We do geek out over like website traffic and stuff.
Oh, I know. It's amazing now what lights me up.
Yeah. What did you say yesterday, Kim? You were like, it's like wizardry.
It is like wizardry.
Like SEO was SEO on websites, and yeah, there's a lot though, isn't there? There's a lot to think about. But I think where I've become better since working with you, Kim, is thinking about that almost that thread of how everything connects, and also customer service as well. I was at a networking event. I want to talk about networking as well in a sec. I was at a networking event last Friday, and he was talking about sales and marketing, and actually you can be great at both of those things. And even if you do your marketing really well, sales convert, it's still that next step of customer service that is the thing that will like triple. It kind of goes back around in a loop. It triples your marketing again, because people are going to say great things about you.
Yeah.
There's that whole.
Yeah, and that's step 6 in the sales process, is your follow-up part of your process. So step 5, we've gained the commitment from them. They are with us. They're a new customer, but the journey doesn't stop there. Actually, now you've opened up a massive door here in your follow-up stage at stage 6. And yeah, very much that. Now we can leverage. I'm taking emotion out of it when I've said it like that, but we could, we've got this new customer, they're great, but we can also then leverage their network and who they surround themselves with, because as we strip it back, as humans, we tend to spend time with like-minded people. And if they're a great customer, chances are they're going to be connected some way to other great people too. So let's keep building a relationship where they want to open doors for us, and vice versa. And then you can really start to ramp up your business growth journey and really enjoy who you're working with too.
Do you want to go through those 6 steps? Or Hayley, what are your thoughts? Are you like so intently here?
I think it's making me reflect on my corporate days where trying to get sales to talk to marketing, or trying to get account management to talk to marketing, to get customer service to talk to marketing, and people not really understanding the benefit of linking everyone together, because they're all touch points to that customer, whether they're a potential customer, whether you're wanting to retain them, whether they're recommending someone else, even, the receptionist who answers the phone, it's all those little areas that make up the customer service. Marketing is absolutely everything. And just getting them to talk to each other was so hard. That's what I was thinking about. And yet it's so easy, actually, when you're working in a smaller organization, if you've got one business development consultant, one marketing consultant, and then a team of, the doers, or whatever the business is, it's just so easy to come together and share the information to help each other. I just wish corporate would see it a bit clearer than that.
And again, if we go like stage 4 in the sales process is dealing with buyer resistance, and I suppose there it's kind of like you're dealing with resistance in it, just in a slightly different capacity. And there's in theory, there's 2 main reasons that buyer resistance exists, but probably the same in this instance. We're lacking information, or that prospect is lacking information, or they've misunderstood what you're communicating. So we can apply that same principle in a breakdown in communication. We need more information, or we need to understand a bit more of what's going on here. And I see lots of different businesses as I'm going out and about, coaching and getting involved in the community. And I do feel like marketing, they're the first ones hung out to dry when something's not going how they want it to. And it's like they want to see that direct return on investment from a marketing perspective, which is tricky for marketeers. I can see you both like nodding away, and it is really tricky. And whether there needs to be collectively from a marketing industry perspective, like more education as to why that is the way it is, and why marketing is so important, and how advantageous it is that we thread marketing throughout all areas of the business. Because working so closely to Kelly, I've learned so much more about marketing than I thought I knew quite a lot, but I've learned so much more from working closely with Kelly as to how intricate it is.
Yeah. And actually, our last episode, we had Kim Ellis on, who works with Hayley, and the episode title was "Starting a Business with Minimal Marketing Knowledge."
Yeah.
And she, I think, in literally her first sentence, she just nailed it on the head. She was like, "It's a long game. Like marketing is a long
Yeah.
game." And I think she actually said about, we expect these quick results. Like we have a microwave mindset, don't we, these days? And that's just not the way it is. And she learned that really quickly, and that was probably the thing that has helped her to know that that investment is needed.
Yeah.
Without it, it really does make the other bits really difficult.
Yeah. I think people think marketing should convert the sale, but it's not. It's the sales process that should convert the sale, not marketing that converts.
Okay, talk us through your 6 steps.
Okay, so 6 stages in your sales process. First of all, you'd look at before the sale begins. So we'd be looking at your prospect database. Have you got a sales process? Like, have we got your measures in play? What targets have you got for the overall business? And how can we thread all that back together? And that's where I think marketing is important, because I'd be asking a business owner or a sales team, how does marketing show you credibility? Like, I think that's really important. We're building trust and rapport with people, so let's let them see you in your best light. Then you'd move into stage 2 in the process. So this would be identifying the needs of somebody. There's no point selling to somebody that doesn't want to be sold to. So we need to establish the needs. I'd be looking at working with somebody on your powerful questions. So how can we ask really open questions and really thought-provoking questions to understand the need of that prospect, but also ask it in a way that helps you understand the psychographics. Do I mean that? The psychology of what's going on in that individual's person's head. How do they like to be communicated with? What's their general demeanor? So we're not just looking at just the basic demographics of that person. We're really starting to understand them, because that's who we're building a relationship with. And again, marketing helps there, because we want to understand, do we truly understand that customer? And has marketing brought the right person to that point in the sales process? Then you'd move to stage 3, which is proposing your solution. So assuming that identifying the needs stage has gone well and they're like, oh my God, I need you, you're amazing. Then you'd propose your solution to them. Again, you might need help from marketing, because you might want some visuals or resources, a pitch deck. I always think it's nice to leave people with something tangible, or at least have something there to showcase. And again, marketing support can help with that. Step 4 is buyer resistance, or dealing with objections. If I get objections, I always feed that information back to Kelly, and ask her to weave that back into marketing material, because objections exist for one of 2 reasons. Someone's misunderstood, or they're missing information. So I want to try and combat objection handling through my marketing and through other steps in my sales process. So we're never going to eradicate objections completely. And some people might just get through your funnel and think, this don't feel right. That's fine. But we want to try and eliminate people getting to that point. We want to eliminate like the objection handling part. Then you'd move to step 5, gaining commitment from that person. So signing them up as a customer. And then step 6 would be your follow up and follow through part of your process. So where you would be looking at the longer relationship with that person, making sure they've been onboarded really well, making sure that we've caught up with them and we've checked in to make sure they're okay. We can gather feedback, testimonials, We might want to ask for referrals if that's you know what we want to do, or do we want to upsell to them or cross-sell if there's other ways we can add value once we've built a bit more of a relationship with them. Step 2 and step 6 are 2 areas I feel in the sales process that don't get enough time and attention. And that's where I feel you can really you can really add value to your client, but therefore your business as well.
Nice.
So hopefully that gives you a nice
Right now.
whistle stop tour.
Yeah. Yesterday I was talking about marketing. So in my head, there's like, you do the visibility stuff at the top in marketing. And I often get people say, well, I'm doing marketing, like I'm going to stop. That's it. They'll dip into networking. And yeah, that can definitely work. Like, I think if your message and, like you say, you're feeding customer insight back into your content, can absolutely work. Just doing that. And then I've had conversations where people have said, oh, I'm not doing outreach. I'm not going to them. They can come to me.
Yeah.
So outreach, is that the same as sales? Is that stage 2, that identifying needs? So take me for an example. If I was to reach out to some organizations where I could find out their needs, if they needed a marketing strategy, that's me reaching out to them. So that's outreach.
Yeah.
Where does that then fit in with them 6 stages? Am I in sales now?
Well, I would see that as almost so before the sale begins, because they haven't actually, you're not in a conversation where they're, or you, if they replied to you, then yes, you're in the conversation of identifying the needs. But otherwise I would see that as before the sale begins, and it's part of your process to bring them to the start of your sales process, of your sales process. So I would see it more as marketing touch points. But I appreciate that maybe that's where the grey, blurry area exists. But definitely where the 2 need to speak to one another, because if we aren't getting that messaging right that we're sending out, then we're not going to get a reply to even attempt getting them at the start of your sales process.
Yeah, but you can really use that stage 2, identify needs, because we've spoke about this, Kim, like where you get people in your inbox and it's just like the most random message. They've not even got your job title right, and you know that they've not done any research on you. Whereas if they have, your marketing will make it that really clear on who you are, what you can.
And it can really trigger people, can't it? If they jump straight into proposing a solution to a need you either don't have or you're not ready to admit that you have, that's really triggering. And it will damage your reputation, which again is your marketing. Like, your reputation is your marketing. So definitely make sure that there's a need there to start with. And if you don't know there's a need, don't assume there's a need. Ask. Ask some questions, ask some powerful questions to establish, is there a need there? Yeah, Hayley's got cogs whirring, I can see.
No, I've got what? Cogs working. It's just funny. I don't see myself as a salesperson at all. I fear sales, I fear business development, and for all my time being self-employed, I've never really had a sales-led focus to what I do. It's always been marketing, kind of pull marketing. But when I support clients, when we go to exhibitions and I can represent them on their stand, I will get people come up to me, and I know that I'm selling on behalf of a client, even though I'm a marketer, because I know the product and I know the service so well, and I'm quite personable. I'm there to help. One of the first things I do is try and ask the questions to understand more about the person coming up to me, because I can't sell in, or I can't explain what the client does without really understanding where they are with their needs, what problem they have, what challenge they need solving. And that's that marketing piece of trying to understand that. So once I've got that information, then I start talking to them. but just going into the hard sell really quick of this is what it can do without really aligning it to what they need straight away. If I don't do that, that barrier then goes up. And like you just said, it is no different than someone dropping into your LinkedIn inbox and putting something to you. And it's like, but you don't know me from Adam. You don't actually know if I have this problem or I have a need.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, that's where we want to be, as personal and also like that, when I mentioned before, identifying the needs, we're asking questions to establish their need, but we want to ask them in a way that helps us understand their preferred communication style and personality type, essentially, because some might be like, you know, just get to the point. How can you help me? I'm here. I want change right now. Give it me now. Whereas others might be like, wow, that's too much. Like I need to go away and really process this, and we need to find out how they prefer to be communicated with, but without saying, tell me your communication style. Do you want me to be really forceful with you, or do you want me to be really laid back?
This is like delving into like skills with people, right? As well, isn't it? Like if you slow down and don't assume that you know everything, even in your marketing, like if you're listening to the person in front of you and you step away from, this is like, I need money, I need a new client, I really want to work with this person. If you step away from that and actually just listen and to that person and just really be curious about them.
Yeah.
If you're slow with that as well, you'll probably get an idea of how they work because of what they tell you. Like if they're like, you can tell if someone's like ready to take action now versus if they're talking about detail or just you can tell in personality
where they are.
Yeah, definitely. And again, like if we ask the question, you know, would you like me to talk to you about this now? Like, would you like me to propose my solution now? Or do you want to have some time to go away and think about it? When would be a good time for me to catch back up with you? Like we're just asking different questions for them to go, yeah, no, talk now. Let's go. Or whether they say, yeah, can you just, can I have a think about it? And then ask another question around, you know, how long would you like to sit and, you know, think over this? And again, you'll gauge whether they are somebody that's like, I just need 30 minutes, or I just need an hour, or give me a week. I've got a busy diary. And again, it's like, right, noted. They're always busy on a Wednesday, or they've asked me to follow up on a Friday morning. You know, we're starting to understand their habits a bit more as well. And then we're never dropping into their inbox with a surprise either. We've planned and we've respected when they want to hear back from us as well. And I think that's always nice. It's nothing's caught you off guard and think, oh, where they come from? Didn't know they were going to mess.
It's trust building as well, which is obviously, I think that's the thing that I often forget, is that's what marketing does, is builds that relationship, that rapport, and bridges that gap. And then sales, you almost take the baton and carry that on, don't you, to build that relationship and that trust, because you need it more so to be able to close the sale.
And I think it's even more important in today's world than, and I say 10 years ago when we're in sales, because we are behind, our marketing is behind screens a lot, or we're just less out and about and face to face with different people. And I don't know, our people's guards up a little bit more. Like you said, the hard sell, there's all that preconceived bias now that we're up against. So we've got to be even more trustworthy than ever before, I think, and eliminate this language of tactics and persuasion, and I just don't think we need any of that high pressure language. It's just relationship building. Let's just be really good at that.
Yeah. And actually, like the small business owners that are probably listening to this, they haven't the capacity to work with lots and lots of people, lots and lots of clients. You tend to just need, or I don't know, it's different for everybody, but like four clients is like plenty. Like you get time capped quite quickly, don't you, as a small business owner? I know I definitely do. And if you've done the work in your marketing and you've built all that trust, like Hayley says, then your tactic is so different when you go into this sales conversation. It's a real misalignment between what they're seeing online, which is probably your true self, versus them when they're in person.
Yeah.
Or around, actually what they're seeing online isn't you, and then they see something different when they're in person. So
Yeah.
making sure that all marries up is important, and you've got the skill behind each of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where like personal branding and like your own self-development comes into play.
Yeah.
Bigger organization, it's internal culture, and it's the teams really understanding what each team does. The whole personality thing comes into it as well. Like it can be quite detailed, really, can't it, when you're
Yeah, definitely. And on that, like the high pressure that we can put on ourselves, really. I had to have a really, really awkward conversation last week with a business owner that I work with. We were looking at their sales process, and I said, like, honestly, I can feel the pressure around you. And I said, if I can feel that, your prospects will be feeling it too. So then it's not really what you're saying, it's how you're making them feel. Like, let's eliminate that pressure that's on you. Like let's just work on that first, because this is going to impact your conversion rate. And I think that, like, Kelly and I spoke so much about the importance of looking after your personal development as well as your professional development, because if you haven't got yourself in check, you're damaging your conversion rates, and everything that's been going on in your marketing beforehand, it's all for nothing, really.
So that person, they were feeling the pressure to make the sale to get the money.
Yeah, because of the pressure that they've put on themselves, because of where they want to take the business and in what time scale. It's so important that we get this amount of sales in this amount of time, and like everything was, you're in desperation mode, like it has to happen. And it's like, okay, like we can appreciate the urgency that's needed. Times are tough out there for a lot of businesses and industries that I see. However, we've got to take our own, we've all got baggage, we've all got shit going on in our own heads. We're all navigating a lot. But when it comes to sales, we've got to find strategies to put that out the way and just deal with the person in front of us, and not transfer our energy onto them. Like, let's find strategies to keep ourselves at bay and really make it all about them. That's hard when you've got stuff going on. But we have to find strategies to put that to one side in order to, I think, to convert more sales.
Yeah, like I read and do a lot of this work where someone said to me the other day, you do all the action, like you're super disciplined, like you do all the marketing action, you learn about sales, that's a new area for you, you're in the right places doing the right things. But if your frequency is off, like that's all irrelevant, really, all of the action that you've taken. Because when you are in front of someone, then, like you said, they'll feel it. And
yeah, definitely.
That's really great. Thank you so much for all of that. I feel like we've covered like, it didn't feel like sales, like the sales that you think it's going to feel like. Basically just
Good.
getting to know people and building a relationship, and also that relationship for you as well, like knowing how you function at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. And like, don't get me wrong, when I work with a client, we do look at the process of putting this all into a strategic way. So there is that organization, but this is very much, let's strip it all back. What is sales? What is marketing? Hopefully in a roundabout way, we've covered that off. Got it back to its bare bones. What is it? People talking to people.
Yeah, being human.
Yeah.
Being human. Thank you. And you just do it in such a honest and soft way as well. Like you just got to really how you explain it's really clear. Really.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed that, and yeah, I was out of my comfort zone not being prepped and organized, but I liked it. It was nice. It was
Yay.
refreshing.
I enjoyed it because I think you've almost changed my perception of sales and salespeople, which has been one way for a very long time. So thank you.
Oh, good. No, I'm glad. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for everybody listening or watching. Our next episode, which is coming up, is with Phil Shawland. So he is a content expert. And yes, very fun. We're going to have a good conversation with him. So he focuses mostly on LinkedIn, content creation for his clients. I'm actually doing a LinkedIn workshop with him in middle of June in the Derby area as well. So that would be a good chat. But yes, Kim, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks for having me.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.